Very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vadwa. Let's get to your top story, and that's Union Home Minister. This is Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur accused protesting wrestlers of changing goalposts. Accused Minister Brij Bhushan has now taken a jibe at the wrestlers. Medals belong to India and they can't be thrown into the Ganga, is what he said. This after the United World Wrestling, now the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, has also condemned the way India's top wrestlers are being treated during their ongoing protests. Several wrestlers continue to protest in New Delhi against the former Wrestling Federation of India's chief, that's Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, despite calls from the government to trust the ongoing police probe. Now, farmers today will hold a crucial meet, a Mahapanchayat, in order to discuss the protests of the wrestlers. Let's just listen in to what was said by Anurag Thakur and then by Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh.
कुछ खिलाड़ियों की मांग जो रेसलिंग के क्षेत्र में है, उन्होंने जब कहा कि उनके साथ गलत व्यवहार हुआ तो कमेटी का गठन किया गया, उनसे चर्चा करके किया गया। रात के 2 बजे इसकी घोषणा हुई, कमेटी के मेंबर्स बनाए गए, उन्होंने एडिशन करने के वो भी किया गया। कमेटी ने अपनी रिपोर्ट दी, निष्पक्ष जांच की, उसके बाद दिल्ली पुलिस ने एफआईआर दर्ज की, सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गए तो वो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने केस सुन के फिर मैजिस्ट्रेट तक जाने के लिए कहा। जो कहा हर गोल पोस्ट अगली बार अगला गोल पोस्ट होता चला गया, हमने कहीं पे कोई कमी नहीं छोड़ी।
दिल्ली पुलिस की जांच का इंतजार करिए और खिलाड़ियों से भी कहिए मेडल न फेंके, मेडल देश का होता है।
We have my colleague Saurabh Shukla joining us. Saurabh, the accused minister Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh has gone on to say that the medals belong to the country, the medals belong to India and can't be thrown into the Ganga. Now, this at a time when the farmers are planning a crucial meet today in order to discuss that protest by the wrestlers.
Today at 12, farm body is going to meet at Soram village of Muzaffarnagar in West UP, and there's going to be a major Mahapanchayat in the favor of wrestlers. As we all know, day before yesterday, when wrestlers went to Haridwar to submerge their medals, that day Naresh Tikar, the senior farm leader, stopped them and gave 5-day ultimatum to government to take action against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. So after that, and on that very day, Naresh Tikar announced historic Mahapanchayat in the favor of wrestlers, and today this Mahapanchayat will decide the future course of this protest by the wrestlers. Wrestlers did not say anything. They are quiet from last 2 days, as they are saying that they have given 5-day ultimatum to government. So before that, they will not speak. They will not speak. They will not reveal their plan, how they are going to take their protest forward, because now farmer body have also joined in. Earlier also they were with the wrestlers, but not like this. They were not holding Mahapanchayat in favor of them. It was wrestlers protest. They were just supporting. Now farm bodies are saying that now they will also protest in favor of these wrestlers. So it's going to be a very important day today, Vidya. How things will unfold, we all don't know. Though Anurag Thakur yesterday did say that these wrestlers are changing goalposts. He said that in January, for the first time when they started protesting at Jantar Mantar, a committee was formed. Wrestlers did not wait for that committee's report, and after that they started protesting. They started taking support from several political parties. So that's what Anurag Thakur is saying, and Delhi police, on the other hand, through their sources, not directly saying that they have not and they don't have enough evidence to arrest Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Though Delhi police has not said anything on record, on camera, but this was through the sources that they don't have enough evidence. So I think that this whole process is getting complex, and government is also trying to speak with these wrestlers through their coaches and other back channels, but so far wrestlers are adamant that they will not take their protest back before the arrest of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh.
Right. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for getting us those details. So that crucial meeting coming up with the farmers, and like he pointed out, it was the farmer leader who had in fact convinced them not to submerge their metals into the river in Haridwar, into the Ganga, saying that they should in fact. That's when they decided to give the centre a deadline of 5 days. So now that crucial meeting coming up amongst the farmers in order to discuss the protests between the wrestlers. Moving on now, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has ordered stern, swift actions to stop violence in Manipur, recover looted arms as the soonest. Now, Amit Shah has assured peace as far as Manipur is concerned and those who have been displaced to return to home safely. This as they have also reported of fresh firing attacks as well as attacks from Sugnu and Kangwai areas in Manipur. The government has extended the ban on internet services as well as data services, and that's going to continue to the 5th of June. Amit Shah held a very high-level meeting in order to review the situation in Imphal last night. Yesterday, in field visits, Amit Shah had also assured that the supply of essential items will continue in the hilly areas, and helicopter services will now be provided if there is any untoward incident, if there's any sort of emergency that comes about in the worst hit in areas of Manipur. My colleague Saurabh joins us on the phone line. Saurabh, fresh attacks reported in Sugnu and Kangwai. What's the situation on the ground?
Well, there have been sporadic incidents. In fact, even when we were in Sekmai yesterday, there were gunshots that went off. And several areas, have seen gunshots overnight. In fact, even in the, in the peripheral areas of the valley, we've heard gunshots going off, occasionally. And that is, of course, something that's been almost a daily affair, so to speak, in Imphal over the last few days, or even in the other areas where there is still, violence going on, as in terms of the ethnic conflict that's been happening in the state of Manipur. The Union Home Minister has held a high-level security review meeting last night, and of course that was after his return from, the Kangpukpi and More, which he visited in the afternoon. And the centre, the Union government, is seen as a, neutral arbiter in the conflict, and which is why much of what is going to be heard or, done is going to be driven by the Union government. And that is something that we will, of course, witness in the next few days. Now, Amit Shah is also going to have a press conference this morning at 11, and he's, of course, probably going to outline the plans the Union government has, because in the context of the state government, there is, of course, too much distrust, between communities for, perhaps the state government to play a major role in managing this conflict. But the Union government is seen as a neutral arbiter, which is why wherever he's gone, he's been welcomed, and people have said that, they expect him to deliver in terms of, providing a peaceful solution for coexistence of communities in Manipur.
Right. Saurabh, if you could take us through the agenda on the last day of Amit Shah, he's expected to hold a press conference.
Yes, he is expected to hold a press conference this afternoon, and, both communities that are involved in this ethnic conflict have expressed their hopes of, a solution that would be driven by the Union Home Minister. And this is, of course, something that the Union Home Minister has been discussing, perhaps, with stakeholders. He's been here for 3 days in Manipur, held series of meetings, visited far-flung areas. Wherever he's gone, he's been welcomed by people because they see the Union government, like I said, as a neutral arbiter. And there is a lot of distrust with, the state apparatus, so to speak. So in that context, yes, the Union Home Minister is likely to pave the way forward for, a resolution of the situation in Manipur. And yesterday also we've seen, the Union Home Minister visit far-flung places and also relief camps. And, we were there at one of the relief camps as well. And then, of course, he also went to Kangpukpi and he also went to More. So let's just take a look at what, the Union Home Minister has been doing in his Manipur visit, reaching out to people mostly and trying to find a solution.
Living on the edge, constantly watching out for gunfire, amidst ethnic violence in Manipur. No community feels safe as their homes have been destroyed and lives have been lost. Each group has its own concerns. Meiteis living in relief camps in Imphal Valley's troubled-hit Sekmai say that they fear returning home.
Without security, we can't return again to our place. We love the place. That is our birthplace. We love our home, our place. But in this condition, we are not willing to return home. So if there is security, proper security, then yes, we also love our place. But nobody want to go back now.
At the hill district of Kangpokpi, people are looking to the union government for solutions. Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit has been welcomed everywhere, as the union government is seen as a neutral arbiter.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah arriving in this place, which is of course another place which is sensitive in terms of the ethnic violence in Manipur. This is Kangpokpi, again a place where the Union Home Minister has just landed in this helicopter, and he will hold meetings here. He's already visited Moreh, and now of course he's come to Kangpokpi.
On Wednesday, Amit Shah visited Kangpokpi and Moreh, where security forces have had to evacuate people. Amit Shah has held at least a dozen meetings with different communities in Manipur. People are banking on him.
And in my lifetime, I have not experienced a violence or conflict of this magnitude. And this violence, which we experience now, it is the worst thing that you can imagine. And our Honorable Home Minister, he is visiting our town today, and I hope that he will bring, and he will have the political willingness to bring a permanent and peaceful solution for both the community.
With the Home Minister's visit, we are banking on him to bring about a solution for everyone here. So, yeah, the future is so bleak for us.
For years in Manipur, politics has been practiced on the divide between the hills and the valley. And unfortunately, this round of ethnic violence in the state has also happened along the same fault line. The Union Home Minister's visit to Manipur is aimed at finding a lasting peaceful solution that will ensure that communities that have grown apart from each other in the last few days can peacefully coexist, whether it is the valley or the hills. In Kangpokpi, Manipur, with camera person Sanjay Chakraborty, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And ethnic clashes broke out nearly a month ago, and in Manipur's history of ethnic conflict, this is not the first violent incident that's taken place in the state of Manipur.
A month of ethnic clashes in Manipur have left over 80 people dead. But this is not the first ethnic clash in the troubled northeastern state. Manipur's tribal population is broadly classified under two main groups, Naga and Kuki, and there was a big communal clash between them in the early 90s. Thousands of houses were gutted and destroyed, and hundreds killed and maimed in both sides, men, women and children. The clashes erupted over efforts of the Nagas to clear the Kuki villages away from the Naga-dominated areas in the hill districts of Manipur. In 1993, an alleged gun-running deal struck between a Meitei insurgent group and a gun-running Muslim gang went sour, and the scuffle between the two parties led to a communal clash that killed over 100 people. As an impact of the Naga-Kuki clash, Kukis largely relocated to the southern hills, Kangpokpi and Churachandpur districts. This internal migration led to an ethnic conflict in Churachandpur between 1997 and 1998 between the Kukis and the Paite tribe. That led to over 100 deaths and over 1,000 people displaced. But later, they reconciled. With BM Sanju in Imphal, in Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
Well, Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Punjab's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann with their Tamil Nadu counterpart MK Stalin in Chennai in order to garner support against the union government's recent ordinance to restore the LG's control over transfer and postings of bureaucrats, nullifying the Supreme Court order that upheld the elected government's control. This comes closer to the 12th of June opposition meet that's coming up in Patna. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break. Lots more coming up on the other side. Now, as Prime Minister Modi completes 9 years in government, here's a look back at some of the most defining moments.
सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा। मेरा वचन है भारत मां को, तेरा शीश झुकने नहीं दूंगा। नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी
Welcome back. Now the battle for Rajasthan heats up as Ashok Gehlot, and it's Ashok Gehlot versus the Prime Minister in the desert state. The Prime Minister held a meeting. He was in fact at a rally in Ajmer yesterday, and just at a time when the Ashok Gehlot government now offers new SOPs while the Prime Minister marks his 9-year celebration. So Ashok Gehlot has given a major relief in electricity bills in order to woo the consumers and the voters in Rajasthan. On the day Prime Minister Modi was in Ajmer to launch the BJP's campaign in Rajasthan and mark 9 years of his government. Ashok Gehlot has come back with a huge SOP. The Chief Minister came up with a major relief in electricity consumption, especially for the lower and middle income users. 100 units of electricity will have a zero bill slab. As far as consumers who use more, the first 100 units will be absolutely free, and for those who use 200 units, surcharges have been waived off. Let's listen in to the Chief Minister.
उसमें 100 यूनिट तक तमाम प्रदेशवासियों को चाहे वो कितनी बिजली कंज्यूम करे तब भी फ्री दी जाएगी। उसके अलावा इंसेंटिव दिया जा रहा है 200 यूनिट तक जो पाबंद रखेंगे अपने आप को, उनको 100 यूनिट तो फ्री होगी। उसके अलावा 100 से 200 यूनिट तक जो है उनका भी जो फिक्स चार्ज है, अन्य चार्जेज हैं, वो चार्ज नहीं दिए जाएंगे। अब मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि जो परिवार लगभग 1 करोड़ 10 लाख परिवार है, उससे अधिक परिवारों को इस फैसले से राहत मिलेगी।
Well, a tried and tested formula is free electricity that started with the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi and Punjab, adopted by the Congress Party in Karnataka and now being implemented in the poll-bound state of Rajasthan. Now, as the central government completed 9 years in power, Prime Minister Modi launched BJP's Mass Connect campaign from Ajmer in Rajasthan yesterday. As he also highlighted the government's achievements. He also taunted the Congress in the state by saying that the Chief Minister and the MLAs fight amongst themselves. The party loots everyone equally, is what Prime Minister Modi had to say. My colleague Harsha has the details.
Battleground Rajasthan, from the geographical heart of the state Ajmer, the BJP's Maha Jan Sampark Abhiyan, but the special focus, clearly Rajasthan, and the party is going to use the infighting in the Congress here to its advantage.
यहाँ 5 साल से विधायक, मंत्री, मुख्यमंत्री आपस में लड़ने में ही बिजी है.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who visited the Brahma temple in Pushkar before addressing the rally in Ajmer, talked about the Congress's history of corruption.
साथियों, और जब लूट की बात होती है ना, तो कांग्रेस किसी में भेदभाव नहीं करती. सबको समान भाव से लूटती है.
Setting the tone for the BJP's election pitch, the PM also warned people against the Congress's guarantees, saying this would make the country bankrupt.
कांग्रेस ने एक और नया फॉर्मूला खोज लिया है. ये फॉर्मूला है झूठी गारंटियों का.
The Congress's election campaign in Rajasthan, led by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, has focused on social welfare schemes to bring the party back to power. From free electricity to rations and gas cylinder at 500 rupees, the Congress has given social welfare guarantees in both Karnataka and poll-bound Rajasthan. Clearly, the BJP has to offset this narrative. But playing spoiler for the Congress, Sachin Pilot, who despite the photo op after meetings with the Congress High Command, once again raised the pitch against his own government.
नौजवानों के साथ अगर कहीं गलत होता है या कहीं उनके साथ नाइंसाफी होती है तो मैं समझता हूँ पार्टी हमेशा उसके खिलाफ रही है. भाजपा के शासन में वसुंधरा जी के कार्यकाल में जो करप्शन के मामले उठे थे, जो खुद अशोक गहलोत साहब ने, मैंने, तमाम कांग्रेस नेताओं ने अपने मुंह से कई बार हम लोगों ने इन बातों को रखा था और ये बात पब्लिक डोमेन में है, तो उन पर एक प्रभावी जांच होनी चाहिए.
The BJP is definitely going to go all guns blazing into this assembly election, using the Congress's infighting in Rajasthan to political advantage. But will the BJP also tweak its own election strategy, which didn't quite gel after Karnataka? Will they project the local leadership differently is the larger political question. In Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
And Union Home Minister Amit Shah has ordered stern and swift action in order to stop the violence in the state of Manipur and recover looted arms at the soonest. Amit Shah has also assured peace in Manipur and the return of those displaced from home, their return safely. This as there have been reports of firing and attacks from Sugnu as well as Kangwai areas. The Manipur government has extended the ban on internet as well as data services till the 5th of June. Amit Shah held a high-level security review meeting in Imphal last night. Yesterday, while he was visiting the fields, he had assured that the supply of essential items will not stop in the hilly areas and helicopter services will now be put into place as far as the emergency needs are concerned in the worst hit areas.
Living on the edge, constantly watching out for gunfire. Amidst ethnic violence in Manipur, no community feels safe, as their homes have been destroyed and lives have been lost. Each group has its own concerns. Meiteis living in relief camps in Imphal Valley's troubled hit Sekmai say that they fear returning home.
Without security, we can't return again to our place. We love the place. That is our birthplace. We love our home, our place. But in this condition, we are not willing to return home. So if there is security, proper security, then yes, we also love our place. But nobody want to go back now.
At the hill district of Kangpokpi, people are looking to the union government for solutions. Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit has been welcomed everywhere, as the union government is seen as a neutral arbiter.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah arriving in this place, which is of course another place which is sensitive in terms of the ethnic violence in Manipur. This is Kangpokpi, again a place where the Union Home Minister has just landed in this helicopter, and he will hold meetings here. He's already visited More, and now of course he's come to Kangpokpi.
On Wednesday, Amit Shah visited Kangpokpi and More, where security forces have had to evacuate people. Amit Shah has held at least a dozen meetings with different communities in Manipur. People are banking on him.
And in my lifetime, I have not experienced a violence or conflict of this magnitude. And this violence, which we experience now, it is the worst thing that you can imagine. And our Honorable Home Minister, he is visiting our town today, and I hope that he will bring, and he will have the political willingness to bring a permanent and peaceful solution for both the community.
With the Home Minister's visit, we are banking on him to bring about a solution for everyone here. So, yeah, the future is so bleak for us.
For years in Manipur, politics has been practiced on the divide between the hills and the valley. And unfortunately, this round of ethnic violence in the state has also happened along the same fault line. The Union Home Minister's visit to Manipur is aimed at finding a lasting peaceful solution that will ensure that communities that have grown apart from each other in the last few days can peacefully coexist, whether it is the valley or the hills. In Kangpokpi, Manipur, with camera person Sanjay Chakraborty, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Moving on, India's GDP growth beats estimates and the Indian economy grew 7.2% in the last financial year, with the gross domestic product expanding 6.1% in the fourth quarter. My colleague Priyanshi Sharma gets us the details.
I'm Priyanshi Sharma, and we're starting with some good news for the economy. The GDP figures are out, and the GDP growth rate that has been released by the government has exceeded expectations. The financial year 2023 real GDP growth is estimated at 7.2%, which is higher than the forecast that the government had made earlier at 7%. These are the provisional estimates that have been released by the government, and according to them, the financial year 2023 real GDP growth rate is at 7%. Importantly, it is lower than the 9.1% GDP growth rate that was reported in financial year 2024. So in that sense, the GDP growth rate has slowed, but with this rate, India maintains its status as the fastest growing economy, major economy globally. If we also talk about the quarterly growth rate that has been released, the growth rate for the January to March quarter is at 6.1%, which is higher than the estimate that the Reserve Bank of India had made at 5.9%. The quarter 4 GDP growth rate is at 6.1%, which is higher than the 4.5% growth rate that was reported in quarter 3. Now, the quarterly GDP growth rate has also risen after falling for 2 consecutive quarters. Now let's look at how big our pie is. What is the value of the country's gross domestic product? The nominal GDP is valued 44% higher than what the value was in the pre-pandemic year of 2019. If you talk about the value of our GDP, it is at 72 lakh crore rupees in 2023. This is the nominal GDP, while in 2019 it was at 189 lakh crore rupees, so a 44% increase there. But it's important to point out here that while our pie is getting bigger, the piece that every person is getting is still significantly low. The per capita GDP of our country is just 10% higher than what it was in the pre-pandemic year in 2019. So in 4 years, it has grown just about 10%. In 2023, the per capita GDP is at 1,15,746, while in 2019, it was at 1,05,000. 5,000. But what's contributing to the rise in real GDP growth rate? That's agriculture, manufacturing, construction and the travel sector. The agriculture sector has grown at 4% versus 3.5% last year, and it stands at 22 lakh crore rupees for financial year 2023. Manufacturing sector grew at 1.3%, but that's significantly low if you compare it with the growth rate of last year, which was 11%. And the manufacturing sector's gross value added to the GDP is at 26 lakh crore rupees for financial year 2023. Private consumption expenditure is also up 7.5% compared to financial year 2022, and it's at 93 lakh crore rupees, and it contributes to over half of the total GDP of our country. Now, the gross fixed capital formation is up by 11% year on year at 54 lakh crore rupees. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also tweeted that the growth figures underscore the resilience of the Indian economy amidst global challenges, and this robust performance, along with overall optimism and compelling macroeconomic indicators, exemplify the promising trajectory of our economy. Another good news that came out is that the central government has also met its fiscal deficit target. The fiscal deficit for the financial year 2023 has narrowed to 6.4% of the GDP compared to 6.7% in the last financial year. In simple terms, this is the difference between the government's expenditure and receipts, and that is now at 17 lakh crore rupees. So these major points of good news coming in for the economy.
With that, we're slipping into a very short break. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's get a check on the weather as we step into June. Let's look back at the month of May and how it's panned out. Well, in the northern part of the country, 94% excess rainfall has been recorded in the month of May itself. In central India, 64% excess rain has been reported. In central parts of the country, we're also seeing, so when we talk about central India, that's a 64%. In south, it's a 32%. Country-wise, it's a 10% surplus. However, the worry is the eastern and the northeastern part of the country, which continues to have a deficit of about 11%. It just clearly hasn't rained there enough. When we talk about even temperatures in the northern part of the country, they've been under check. In fact, under most parts of the northwest plains, the temperatures have been the lowest in the longest time. In fact, in Delhi, the average mean temperature, the average maximum temperature, it has been all of 36.8 degrees, the lowest since 1987, the lowest in 36 years, when the maximum average temperature was about 36 degrees. Now, let's talk about the pre-monsoon phase, which is between March and May. When we take into account that phase over there, we can see that rainfall has been in the excess of 136% in central parts of the country. In the south, a 37% surplus. In the north, 33% more rain than it usually is seen as far as the northwest plains of the country are concerned. And then in the eastern part, that deficit that we're seeing is as huge as 35%. Overall in the country, in the pre-monsoon phase from March, that's the 1st of March till the 31st of May, 12% surplus rainfall has been recorded. Now, what we need to see is how the monsoon will pan out, and according to the Met Office, monsoon is going to be normal to the tune of 96%. However, SkyMet, private forecaster, has said that monsoon will be below normal and not to the tune of 96. It could be as less as 94%. And while let's get you more news on the weather front, and here we're seeing in Pithoragarh, this is just close to Pithoragarh, Lipo Lake and Tawa Ghat Road has been washed away due to a heavy rockfall, and that is, we've been seeing a lot of rainfall in the area. Now, about 300 travellers have been stuck in Dharchula and Gunji. According to information we've received, those roads that have been blocked, it could take up to 2 days for that stretch to open. Now, moving away from a default crisis, the House has approved a debt ceiling and a budget cut as far as the package is concerned. Late on Wednesday, US President Joe Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy assembled a bipartisan coalition of Democrats and Republicans against fierce conservatives' blowback and progressive dissent. The hard-fought deal pleased few, but lawmakers assessed it was way better than the alternative. A devastating economic upheaval if Congress failed to act. Tensions ran high throughout the day as hard-right Republicans refused the deal, while Democrats said that extremist GOP reviews were risking a debt default as soon as next week. With the House vote of 314 to 170, the bill now heads to the Senate, with the passage expected by the week's end. President Joe Biden has approved a new package of military aid for Ukraine that totals up to $300 million and includes additional ammunition for drones and an array of other weapons. It comes as Russia has continued to pummel Ukraine's capital and unmanned aircraft have targeted Moscow. The new aid package provides ammunition to boost Ukraine's air defense capabilities to fend off Russia's air assaults on Kiev. The Biden administration has said that it has made clear to Ukraine and the US-made weapons should not be used as far as attacks inside Russia are concerned. Ukrainian officials rejoiced over Tuesday's drone attack in Russia, but avoided claiming any sort of responsibility, a very similar response to what we've seen as far as past previous attacks on Russian territory are concerned.
We don't support attacks inside Russia.
Elon Musk is the richest person in the world again. He surpassed the luxury tycoon Bernard Arnault, who owns luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton, Fendi and Hennessy. Well, Elon Musk's fortune has been valued at $192.3 billion. My colleague Sakshi Bajaj gets us the reasoning.
One man's loss is another man's gain. This sums up Elon Musk being the richest person in the world again. The Tesla Inc. chief executive officer surpassed luxury tycoon Bernard Arnault after shares of Arnault's LVMH collapsed. Bernard Arnault was earlier, of course, the richest person, and he saw $11.2 billion wiped off his fortune, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Arnault's net worth was hit by a market rout in the luxury sector over fears that US spending will be slowing amid economic uncertainties. The uncertainty sent LVMH shares sliding as much as 5%. Remember, Arnault became the third person ever after Tesla's Elon Musk and founder of Amazon Jeff Bezos to top $200 billion in net worth in the same month.